it's crossed. It's muted.
Morning, everyone. We'll just wait a few more minutes just in case there's anyone else ready, just waiting in the lobby, and then we'll get started in a tick. I will just say that we're recording this session, so just so everyone knows. Okie dokes. We may as well get started, and any latecomers can just join us as they go. So welcome. This is the information session for the Community Impact Grants Program. It opened on Monday. We've got a few changes for this year, so it's really good that you've come along today. We just want to do the acknowledgement of country. We begin today by acknowledging the Wadawurrung people, the traditional custodians of the land in which we meet today, and pay our respects to their elders past and present. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. And I just want to point out the river bottlebrush is actually a native flower in our area, which I think is a very beautiful native plant. Okay, I'm just going to pass on to Andrew just to explain a little bit about what we do.
Thanks, Ricky, and welcome everyone to this session. My name is Andrew Eales. I'm the CEO of the Ballarat Foundation, for those of you that I haven't met, and it's great to see so many familiar faces on today's session. If I can remind everyone just to go on mute through the session today, there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions at the end of the presentation, and we'll be here for the next 30 to 40 minutes. So just to start, what we do, the Ballarat Foundation, our vision and our mission is to support positive responses to need within the Ballarat community, and we do that through a number of methods, including program delivery, the L2P Learner Driver program, Volunteering Ballarat, Ballarat Reads. We run appeals and campaigns to help fundraise in support of our activity. We also run the Volunteering Ballarat program, which is an important support to volunteer-involved organisations throughout our community. And the reason that you're all here today is to learn a little bit more about our annual grants program, which is a significant part of our work in terms of delivering positive responses. In terms of our record in achievement, these figures go back to 2022. We're just in the process of processing our impact delivery from last year. But in 2022, we distributed $358,000 in grants, nearly 4,000 books through the Ballarat Reads Dolly Parton's Imagination Library program. We received more than $500,000 in fundraising and donations, largely from people based here in Ballarat, supporting the community where we live and work. More than 70 licences obtained through the L2P Learner Driver program, and more than 1,000 grant beneficiaries, individuals, community organisations, not-for-profits across the Ballarat region. We are unashamedly parochial. We operate in Ballarat and a 50-kilometre radius in terms of our focus on positive impact. So as Ricky mentioned earlier on, we have made some changes to the grants program for this year. And one of the most significant changes we've made is in relation to the level of grants, so the funding available in our tiers. Previously, through the Career Charity Fund, we've had two $15,000 grants available annually. This year, with the support of the Career as well as our general funds, we're now going to offer up to 5 grants at the $15,000 level. We really are trying to drive a conversation about projects which can deliver longer-term sustainable change in our Ballarat community. And to do that, we recognise and understand that we need to increase the level of funding available to community and not-for-profit organisations. So that's really driven our focus on a shift to providing some larger grants this year. The second tier of grants that will be available this year will be up to $3,000, and there will be reduced application requirements for those projects. So some of the detail that we're asked for and require around the $15,000 tier, you won't be required to invest as much time and understanding into your application for tier 2 applications. So we want to make those less burdensome from an administration point of view, but still hopefully valuable in achieving some really positive outcomes in our community. We've also made some changes to our impact focus, and the changes in this area are brought upon by the vital signs research that the Ballarat Foundation published at the back end of 2022 and has continued to develop. You can see information on the data that supports our Vital Signs project on our website. So the 4 areas of focus based upon that data and research and evidence that we have from the community this year will be associated with responses to food security, mental health, young people, and that encompasses everyone from birth to age 18, and the Wendouree-Delacombe area. We do have a specific fund that supports social outcomes in those 2 suburbs, and the Vital Signs research has only served to reinforce that we still need to do a lot of work in those suburbs. So they are our 4 areas of focus. Whether you're applying for a tier 1 or a tier 2 grant, your project will need to align with one of those 4 focus areas. It can align to multiple areas. You'll just need to communicate that when you get around to applying for your grant. Other grants that are available this year include, again, the Peter Amor Sports Participation Grant. The focus of this grant is really about encouraging young people in our community to get involved in sporting activities. Grants are available not to individuals, but to clubs and community groups up to $5,000. And the Ballarat Innovation Grant is available again this year. In terms of our focus for the Innovation Grant, it will still be a single $50,000 grant available each calendar year. However, we're not having a closed application process like we have in previous years, where we've opened for a short period of time, received applications, and then made an assessment. It will be an ongoing open grant opportunity. So at any time, if an organisation is working on a big picture project, a new project that you are trying to get off the ground, we're encouraging you to contact us directly and express interest in applying for the Ballarat Innovation Grant. And then our team will work with you to understand where the project is at, what you're trying to achieve, and help you and guide your organisation to a point where hopefully you can make a successful application. So we're trying to really give something back to community organisations rather than just having you apply and then unfortunately being unsuccessful, or in limited cases successful. We want to try and provide support so that when you are investing significant time in making applications to drive new outcomes in our community, that we're doing everything we possibly can to support you. So that's why that innovation grant process will now be an open EOI process that you can apply to the foundation at any point by emailing us, and we'll work with you through that. From that point, there is a slightly different focus with the innovation grant. We still will be focused on one or multiple of these areas: food security, mental health, and young people. But the change with the innovation grant is we also want to look at housing security. We know that there's significant issues and complex issues regarding housing insecurity in our community at the moment, and we're certainly keen to respond to that through the Ballarat Innovation Grant. I'm now going to hand back to Ricky to run you through some examples of previously funded projects.
Thanks, Andrew. Okay, so these are the programs that were funded last year. So just keeping in mind that they were focused on the pillars that we used last year. So it will be slightly different when you're applying this year. So Meals for Change, Crazy Ideas College, Breezeway Meals Program, a gardener access program, and garden bed replacement were the some of the ones that were funded last year. And I'll just talk a little bit about Crazy Ideas College. A lot of people might be familiar already with this. It's been in the paper quite a bit. The most recent program was held earlier in March and included about 100 students from Mount Clear, Ballarat High School, Ballarat Grammar, and St Pat's. The students are given an opportunity to work together and collaborate in teams on real-life community issues. So one group, I don't think you can see them in the photo, but they came up with a waste utilising compost system. And then through the program, they're taught presentation skills, communication, and they learn how to be more confident in their speaking, and they're given skills to make change for the community in the future. So that would have been focusing on youth. Some of the other projects, the Little Things project, Get Forked Garden to Kitchen program, which I'll talk about in a minute, Reed's Edible Food Garden, breakfast clubs in Phoenix and Sabas, and Source Grow Cook Work. So this is the Get Forked program. These are the guys down at Sebastopol Men's Shed. And they use their funding to upgrade the vegetable patch and the pathway, which is where they're standing, that gravel area. It was important for them because the path is now levelled and wider, so it's suitable for people who use walkers or wheelchairs. And the improved garden beds provide vegetables to their kitchen. The men are then able to cook lunch using these vegetables from the garden out the back, and then they serve all the men lunch. The men's shed is so great because it allows connection and gives them a sense of purpose. It's a really wonderful setup they've got there. And then lastly, other programs were Open Parachute Program, a Skills and Aspiration Program, Reed's Cooking and Food Security Program, 101 Mentoring with Big Brothers Big Sisters, Club Mud and a inclusion program with Ballarat Gold Swimming Club, and those last two programs were funded through the Peter Amor Sports Participation Fund. And I'll just talk a little bit about the Open Parachute program. You can see the kids there. This is a program that's run in classroom settings and it fits in with the current curriculum. As we know, mental health is such a huge issue, so it's one of the reasons we've included it as a focus area this year, as Andrew has said. Last year, the Open Parachute program met the youth pillar, but Open Parachute program is held in 5 local schools so far, in Lucas Primary School, Delacombe, Alfredton, Buninyong and Scottsburn. And right, we'll get to the Good Grants platform now.
Okay, I'm just going to stop sharing for one moment. Okay, can everyone see that web page now? I'm going to take that as
everyone's on mute.
I'm about to run you through just the very basic way, the technical approach to applying for a grant this year. So this is the homepage of the Ballarat Foundation website, and you'll see here that on our homepage you can click through to find more information about the grant application process. You can also navigate through the pull down menus here through to how to apply. Clicking through to this page provides you with all of the information that you need to support your grant application. It provides an overview of each of the individual programs, so our Community Impact Grants, Peter Amor Sports Participation Fund, the Innovation Grant, and other grant opportunities that are not available just at this point. By clicking through these links, you can download the grant guidelines. The grant guidelines provides a lot of information about the eligible and not eligible projects, but also the items within your projects that may be eligible or not eligible for funding. So really encourage you to click on those links and read through the guidelines before starting to make an application. It provides a series of details, as mentioned, as well as the terms and conditions that apply at the end. It looks long, and it's very detailed. However, we understand that you will have questions also about funding eligibility, and our team here at the Foundation is available to discuss with you individually your applications prior to submission by contacting us at info@ballaratfoundation.org.au. But I'm just going to quickly show you how to make an application. So the buttons here on this page come through to a portal, and we use a grants management system called Good Grants. And this is what the front page of Good Grants looks like. Now, I've previously registered for Good Grants, but if you are new to the Ballarat Foundation's Community Impacts program and have not applied in the past 12 months, you will need to register an account with Good Grants to be able to access the Ballarat Foundation's grant portal. So the homepage here for our grants portal provides you with that opportunity to register an account, start an application, save an application, review your application, and then hopefully submit. Once you've created your account through Good Grants, you'll be led to this page. This page duplicates the information that's available on our website about grant availability and also the timeline. So obviously we're here today on the 21st of March holding the public information session. You've got approximately 5 and a bit weeks now to apply to this year's grants programs for the Community Impact Grants and Peter Amor Sports Participation Fund grants. Applications will close at 5 p.m. on the 26th of April. To make an application for a Community Impact grant or Peter Amor Sports Participation Fund, it's as simple as clicking here and beginning the process. What you'll find as you move through the grant application process is that there's either a series of pull-down menus or text box where it asks you to provide information. And I'm not going to go through the whole form today, but I just want to show you the first couple of pages as an example. So I'm creating a test application here for a community impact grant. And as you can see, as you roll through these tabs, you'll be asked to provide a level of detail about your program or your project, financial information about your organisation, organisational details, and contact people. You'll also be required at the end of the process to make a declaration that all of the information that you've provided is accurate at the time of submission. I should say too, just to go back a step, you won't let me now, you are able to download a full copy of the application form in PDF prior to commencing your application. So that means that you can print it out, you can work on it, draw on it, squiggle on it, know the information that you're going to be required to provide in the electronic format before you start the process. That said, once you start the process, you can save and come back to it at any time. So this page requires you to nominate whether or not you're applying for a Tier 1 or Tier 2 grant. And just to support you as you move through the application, you'll see a series of notes which sit on the right-hand side of the application form. This will help guide you and provide further information so that you don't have to keep tin-tacking between the web page or the guidelines and the information that you're providing. So I'm going to apply for a Tier 1 grant here, and I'm not going to apply in the Wendouree Delacombe grant, but my project is going to be associated with response to food security. And then I'm going to put a project name in, nominate that it's going to happen in Ballarat, and begin providing information about the project. And then you go through filling in the text boxes, and obviously you'll put in different information than I'm providing today. And you keep tabbing through. You can jump between sections. So if you get to a section and you realise you don't have the necessary information to fill out a particular question, you can jump ahead and start providing information in other sections. At the bottom of each of the page, you'll be asked what you want to do next. Save and go to the next page, save and close. You can preview your application or you can submit. Now, if you try and submit an application without all of the fields being completed as required, you will get an error message. That error will lead you back to a section that will be highlighted in red that hasn't been filled out. So is either requires more information or hasn't got the correct information. And when I talk about the correct information as an example, there are formatting requirements around things like phone numbers, email addresses. They'll need to look like a legitimate phone number and a legitimate email address, or it won't let you save the necessary information. If you encounter any glitches as you're working through the form and you go, I think I've got all the right information there, it looks right to me, please do get in contact with us, info@ballaratfoundation.org.au, and we'll come back to you and try and support you to get your application submitted. We can see everyone's application, whether they're incomplete, whether they're complete, where the errors sit in the back end of the Good Grants platform. So we'll be able to guide you through that over the phone or in person. So please do shout out if you have any issues going through that process. I think that's all I'm going to say on the application process at this point.
So we're just going to open up to any questions that you have now. So just go ahead and ask a question that you've got, or I don't know if there's a raise your hand.
Yeah, I put my hand up. I'm Louise from the Salvation Army. One question I had is, if we applied for the Tier 1 but were unsuccessful in the Tier 1, would that be considered in the Tier 2 application process, or would you have to do it as sort of two grants? Like if you didn't get the 15, could it be looked at for the potential 3?
Yeah, so we would make an assessment through all of the applications, the funds that we have available. Generally, we don't have enough funds available to meet the request that we receive. And so if you're applying for a $15,000 grant and you ask for $15,000 grant, that's not a guarantee that you'll get that amount of money. And so we would still assess you as a Tier 1 project. But if we thought that, when I say we have an allocations committee that considers all of the applications. If the allocations committee believed that there was still value in funding a project but not at the full level, we would make that assessment through that process. So applying in Tier 1, you can only apply in one tier. Yen Lee, you've got your hand up.
Thanks, Andrew. My name's Yen, and I'm from the Smith family. Thanks, Louise, for asking that question. It is very helpful. The other question that I would have is, now the Smith family is a national organization. We may not fall under the definition of a grassroots organization. Would we be allowed to apply or not? And linked to that, we do have several programs running in Ballarat. Would it be okay if we combine them together to make a more sort of all-rounder proposal to the Ballarat Foundation?
Yeah, so dealing with the first question, as long as you are delivering your project or program in the Ballarat region, so within a 50-kilometre radius of Ballarat, you are eligible whether you are a nationally based or local organisation. What we're really interested in is the work that happens on the ground here in our community. So that answers that question. And then the second question was about bringing together groups of projects. That wouldn't be eligible for a community impact grant. However, it may be a discussion that we have with your organisation around the Ballarat Innovation Grant. If there's something new that you want to deliver that has a bit of a broader scope, that would be a conversation. But in terms of the community impact grants, the Tier 1 and Tier 2 grants, we'd be encouraging organisations to apply for a single program or project.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Got it. Thank you.
Jody?
Oh, thanks, Andrew and Ricky. And it was a bit of a follow-up to Louise's question. if you apply for the tier 1, the 15 grand, can you also then apply with a modified budget to the tier 2 for the same project?
No, you can't. You can only apply for one project for one tier of funding. However, if you wanted to specify in your tier 1 project and break down the essential elements of the budget that you wish to see funded, that would be an assessment that would assist the allocations committee in their decision making.
So it might be that you apply for $15,000, but you end up with 6 or 7 or 8 or something, according to what parts of the budget that the allocations committee sees as the most prioritised.
Correct. And just to give you some insight into those conversations, that is a fairly common conversation we have, and any additional information that projects can provide to inform the committee about what they really need in terms of what the priority funding requirements are would help us in those processes, because, yeah, as I mentioned before, we will certainly be oversubscribed in terms of the applications, and committees always make those decisions about, we like to fund as much as we can, but we have limited funds to be able to do that. So that's part of the strategy that you need to consider when applying.
So, sorry, just to flesh that out a tiny bit more, would the priority areas like youth, mental health, food security, and what was the other one?
Wendouree Delacombe.
Housing security, Wendouree Delacombe. Would they be, like, if you aligned your budget priorities to those areas, that would be the most I suppose, relevant way of getting the grant, a successful grant?
We want to support projects that are going to have the most significant impact in responding to those 4 focus areas.
Right. Great. Thank you.
Louise, did you have another question?
Yes, I do. Thank you. I noticed on your guidelines that it said it can't be funded for consecutive years. We've got a program at the Salvation Army that was funded a lot from the foundation grants previously. We didn't have a grant application last year, so therefore it's not consecutive. If it's been a grant project that's been previously funded but wasn't funded last year, can we reapply? Are we eligible if we've been previously funded by you guys?
You are eligible, Louise,
Awesome.
yes,
Yeah.
in those circumstances.
Yeah, thank you.
Shelley.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to confirm, so with the tier 1s, I get the sense that it's not just investing in the delivery of a project, that there is the opportunity there to invest in more of the backbone work in and around kind of new ideas, new enterprises. So, for example, the development of a business case, the processes involved with pulling, a bunch of community organisations together, like thinking about that kind of framing that you set up, Andrew, around getting to longer term impact. So, it's all that stuff that goes around the delivery of an actual project.
Absolutely. So there are some restrictions on staff wages and overheads in the community impact grant, but I think what you're talking about there, Shelley, is certainly work that we're interested in encouraging in our community. So we are looking at creating collaborations to drive long-term impact. I think that's certainly valuable work and would align with our eligibility.
Right, thank you.
Did you have another question, Jodie, or your hand is still raised? We're not used to Zoom these days.
I realised that it was still up. No, no. No, I don't.
Okay.
How do I stop my hand?
Oh, don't worry about it.
It's all good.
Anyone else have any other questions? Hopefully it's that's cleared some things up for you anyway. And as Andrew said, we're always happy to help you out if you just give us a ring or send us an email. who can help talk you through it.
So I did have something. I tried to get back into the Good Grants. I've had a bit of trouble because somehow I had 2 passwords. And so I've deleted those and tried to put in a new one, but it won't accept me. So I'm a bit sort of, I don't know if I use my email address, whether it will not like me or something.
Can you reset the password? It'll probably just be that you need to reset the password.
Yeah, I tried doing that and then it didn't like me again. So I'll have
We-
another go.
Have another go, Jody, and if you don't have any success, get in touch and we'll sort it out in the back end for you.
Yeah, Wendy tried to do that, but she said she couldn't.
Okay.
But anyway, I'll just keep going until I get some.
Give it another go.
Lots of fun.
Any last minute questions before we wrap it up?
Thanks very much for the opportunity.
No
Great.
worries. Thanks
Thank-
all.
Thanks for coming
Thanks for
along.
the great session.
Thank you so much for the session.
We look forward to seeing your applications.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Bye.